Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some more Total War Warhammer 3 gameplay. This time it's the forces of Tzeentch besieging a major settlement of Grand Cathay. As always, anything that you do see on screen is in development, so anything like stats and so on can change, and all of this in-game footage that you've been seeing lately has been recorded by a member of Creative Assembly staff. This is not my own gameplay. I know you guys must be sick of hearing this, but unfortunately I have to say it every video. So this time we have a siege with the Tzeentchian forces being the attackers. A lot of cool things, as obviously we saw this before where it was Khorne attacking, and now we get to see it from a different point of view. A lot of range, a lot of firepower, and a lot of magic versus the Cathayan forces. We've got a decent build, I'd have to say, a nice amount of different stuff spread out, some Furies, some Forsaken, all of them on the siege towers, but obviously a lot of range too, because the grand majority of stuff for Tzeentch is range or flying, so it's nice and fluffy. There's loads of different options, and we'll be able to see quite a lot of different things. This is obviously depending on how the AI also does react to different things. Now, the Tzeentchian forces are spread out in different ways, mostly through the right and the center, nothing really too much on the left-hand side. We've seen this map before, so we know what the layout is. We know that there's loads of different twists and turns, and there's a lot of towers on the side, but nothing through the front, which to me is odd, as a lot of people have pointed out. It's a main defensive position, so not having any towers firing there is a bit strange, though all the firepower is on the right-hand side. We see that this time the AIs are a little bit better with deployment. A lot of the units have been put on the right to prepare for anything coming from there, which is some siege towers, some chaos spawn, and just a few different things to be able to come in. And on the southern side, there's also a decent amount of Cathayan forces too, which isn't too bad. This is kind of important because, well, the last time when Khorne attacked, everything was kind of one-sided, so hopefully in this battle we'll see a little bit of a change. So far everything's going as usual, the forces are moving up, going directly in. We're not seeing a lot of Cathayan range, and the little that we are seeing is moving into position, which isn't great. You'd expected them to be at the tower already to be able to fire at the enemy forces. Tzeentch is, however, taking some damage, as we already see. A unit of Forsaken was pretty much taken down to half. We've got a lot of heavy damage on the Chaos Spawn, and even the Screamers of Tzeentch too, so enough damage is being done. I'm assuming it's, again, we don't have direct control of the camera, so we can't see everything as we'd like to see it, as obviously this is a replay, but we're seeing a lot of heavy damage. This does make me feel a little better, because the first time that we did see this, Khorne's forces just kind of casually walked in and killed everyone, but at least now we are seeing that they are having to resist, with a lot, almost all of Cathayan forces in the bottom part of the map. No moving back just yet. We have seen some units kind of fall back a little bit, but I think it's just going down to meet the main brunt of the force, as obviously Kairos is flying in. We've got the Forsaken who have just managed to scale the walls and so on. And yeah, so far so good. It's a little better in terms of presentation, and we're seeing a little bit of a fallback from the Cathayan forces. It looks like the fighting is going to be mostly central for at least this battle, where the Tzeentchian forces are coming in. Obviously, we've got Kairos flying over. It kind of makes him a prime target, so hopefully we'll be able to see some range firepower on him. But other than that, we're seeing a proper style siege battle. Hopefully this carries on with all the videos that we'll see today. I'm not too sure, as I'm obviously recording in different orders. And so far so good. The Tzeentch forces have taken some decent damage. Obviously their regenerating second health bar in a sense keeps them up for a long time, but we've seen some flamers take a lot of heavy hits, and so far it's not too bad. They're moving in through one of the gates that they've just destroyed with the Soul Grinder, but this is a fairly long battle as I've got from the video length, and so far we're only about 4 minutes in. We have about 2 minutes of actual battle, so really we're seeing a lot of movement from Tzeentch being very hyper-aggressive. Kairos has obviously been fighting with the balloon to keep that pin down, which isn't really a bad idea. We've got a lot of Cathayans moving in to try and take out the Furies too. It's not too bad. We've seen some units getting wiped out. As long as it can keep like this and we can see a lot of spellcasting, this is going to be what we expect from Tzeentch. I am surprised they're doing so well in an actual siege environment because, while they do have a lot of magic and obviously a lot of range, the range itself, I'm imagining, needs to be positioned in a certain way to be able to get the best vantage point for said attacks. Though that being said, we've not been able to see how the pink horrors fight too well just yet. Now, the points are being broken up, so obviously what the player's trying to do is split up the enemy armies, which this is what's going to help out the player so well. The case is obviously the AI for Total War is not too smart, and if you are able to just split up the Cathayan armies, it works out to your benefit because obviously yin and yang are an important mechanic for them, and they won't be able to benefit from it if their forces have been spread up. As far as I'm aware, if we go back to the mechanics, was that they would be able to get it stronger if more stronger units were around. So Cathay basically benefits like a dwarf would, where you would want your forces as close together as possible, and obviously here it's impossible. You're defending from multiple areas from the walls, you're going to different locations where these ancient forces are moving towards. Cathay is at a massive disadvantage here, as they were when Khorne was attacking, but at least it looks a bit more neutral here rather than just being completely one-sided. Now, we're seeing a lot of heavy damage from Tzeentch. Tzeentch has been losing some troops. We've seen a few units get completely destroyed, and a lot of them are actually losing quite a bit too, so it's nice to see this at a more grounded level. I know a lot of people might find that a bit frustrating, but it's important to see the enemy being able to fight back and actually do some damage, because Tzeentch so far has been presented to be, well, absolutely unstoppable, and it's nice to see that damage can be done. We are seeing a lot of heavy magic use from the Tzeentchian player, which is obviously quite good. A lot of spells is going to be quite needed, especially when you're dealing with a lot of Cathayan units. There's a big amount of them, so being able to do some bombardments and so on will help. You also have to deal with 2 sentinels, which so far in all the different showcases have been presented to be quite strong, so taking them out and focusing them down is going to be very useful. So far, it's a strange thing that Kairos hasn't just taken out the balloon quickly. You'd expect a bit of focus on stuff which can be aerial support, and a lot of units can take out, have the knights take them down and just bog them down as fast as possible. But again, I'm actually quite happy about this because it seems to be quite even. It's a stark contrast to the original battle with Khorne, so we're seeing a lot more damage, and yeah, it's nicer to see. The Chaos Spawn have been taking a beating. One was already destroyed. We're getting another one which is taking a lot of heavy damage with firepower, and obviously we've been able to see, for example, the Sentinel fight against the Soul Grinder, which the Soul Grinder is still able to hold its own, but it's still taking some heavy hits. It should also be very apparent that I'm not used to doing these types of battlecast replays, so I'm trying my best, I do apologize. But so far so good with everything. What I'm hoping is that the Cathayan forces will be able to do this often, even though they're getting beaten quite heavily. We have expected this when it comes to Tzeentch, but the damage has been fine and we're not seeing a lot of falling back, which is important. This isn't a completely different build to what you saw last week. This was from the exact same build, so this is quite good that we know that maybe perhaps the last week was just the AI having an issue, because at least they're more defensive here. Though mind you, there are some videos which kind of counterclaim that, so it's very strange, and I will have to start getting some clarification from some developers. I will ask Creative Assembly, and obviously if you guys have any concerns and so on, put them in the comments below, and I will hopefully be able to get some answers. There's only so much that I'm assuming that the developers will be able to answer until we get closer and closer to more showcases. But this is still good. We're still seeing quite a lot of damage, with Tzeentch having taken far more than I would have expected from a battle like this. I'll be very honest with you, I expected Tzeentch to have won by now. We're a decent amount of time in, and with so much range and so much magic, you would expect a critical win, but it's been fairly even, which is good. Now, we have to obviously take into account that this isn't a doom stack, it's probably not even the most optimal, but still, this has been quite interesting to watch, and I've seen this a few times because obviously I have to do the replay a few times before being able to record this video. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let the video continue. There's going to be no more commentary. I'm going to have the official audio, so you can hear your units, you can hear the screaming of stuff dying and so on, and we'll be back with another video. Actually, I'm not too sure if this is going to be the last one of today. But either way, there's 7 videos today. There's been a lot, and I'm very, very tired.
The Raven God's will. moved. Yes. Darkness calls for destruction. Annihilate them. The northern tribes. Kairos, Fate Weaver. Flux, magic, lies, destiny. We went there. Hordes of chaos. The winds of change. We hold power. Attack! Keeper of the Destiny Scroll. Fight them! We have moved.
But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.